Hello, welcome to Five Alive, where I post overlooked and ignored stories that are helpful to you. And it will be 5 stories this time. So these articles and news references will be in the description box below, as always, as I did in the first video that I did of this nature. And so the purpose of that is so that you can click on those articles and see it for yourself. It's not for you to just trust what I'm saying. It's so that you can see it for yourself. And ultimately, I hope that you get in the mindset of making sure that whatever you hear the media say, the news say, whatever you see on TikTok or any of these other social media platforms, that you confirm it for yourself, that you don't just believe what you see or what you hear, because we're not in an age where you can do that. We're in a time where you have to confirm. All right. Number one story, I'm going to get to it. Number one story, the New York Times goes on Twitter. They posted on Twitter, and this is in reference to the cartoon or movie, The Little Mermaid. So the New York Times took it to Twitter. They did a movie review, and their response was that the movie was missing kink. All right, you heard it. I said it. That's what they said. I don't agree, but the New York Times said that the Little Mermaid movie that just was released about a week and a half ago, maybe 2 weeks ago, is missing kink. Now, it's bad enough that this mermaid spirit is being exposed to children, and even for those adults that watch the movie. But if you don't know what a mermaid spirit is, it is a sexual spirit of like perversion, lust, and inappropriate sexual morality. So immorality. And so that is what a mermaid spirit is. But the New York Times is bashing basically this Little Mermaid movie for not having enough kink in the movie. Now, it's a cartoon. Let's be clear. It's not supposed to have kink, but they said that it's missing kink. And so that's just something that I think you should know. Now, what's the reason why I believe that they're wondering, like, why is there no kink in the movie, is because they had a Black woman that was portraying the main character. And so that also goes to how the media, which New York Times is a part of the media, associates Black women with sexuality. And they are being used to sexualize themselves in these movie roles. So I really do think that for women who are in these positions, please pay attention to the movie roles that you take, because they are promoting things like, kink, okay, and sex. So just be mindful of that as well. Be careful in regards to that. And then also, I would say for parents to be careful as to what you open up your children to in regards to what they're watching, whether it's a cartoon or many other movies. And there is, and I wanted to that point, I want to say that there is a new series that Disney is bringing about, and the series is about a teenager who has fallen in love with the devil and becomes impregnated by the devil. Again, that story is in the description box. I don't want to go in depth with that one. I'm just saying it's wrong. It's interesting that the media, these organizations like Disney and these other platforms are exposing children to a lot of satanic behavior and a lot of things that are against the nature of God. And so as a parent, you are the steward of your child, and it's important for you to pay attention to what you open their eyes to and their spirit to. So I'm just going to leave it at that. Number two, the number two story is the sex abuse by children in the Catholic Church. Now, it was a story that was specifically, I believe, related to Illinois, where the Catholic clergy who had sexually abused children has been exposed. Nearly 2,000 children, I believe. The state found out like 2,000 children had been exposed. And so they are had been in the process of doing an investigation on this, and they are arresting these Catholic clergy members. And so I say good for them. Okay. Under no circumstances is any sexual abuse. I just talked about sexualizing kids with kink and sex and all that. So of course I don't agree with sexual abuse of a child. And so what I do want to say is that this is a time that God is uncovering hidden things, dark things. He's bringing those things that have been hidden to light. And if there is someone that's in the clergy, whether Catholic or regardless of what your denomination, and you have violated some child, this is going to be a time where you are found out, and hopefully you will go to prison for that there will be some judgment and punishment that comes with that. So I do want to say that. Number 3 story. The number 3 story is from Ricky Schroeder, which if you are in my generation, you know him as the main character from the show Silver Spoons. He is a Silver Spoons actor. He basically dropped a truth bombshell about Hollywood and satanic parties that took place when he was a child. And so, as I said before, if you're too young, you don't know what Silver Spoon is, but it was a sitcom, and it was popular in the late 1980s. And the show was about a wealthy playboy, which was Ricky Schroeder's dad. Well, not his real dad, but his TV dad. And the TV dad basically was developing a relationship with his young son, who was a product of like a brief marriage. So already we see that the plot is trying to subtly break down the family unit and normalize single parenthood. So I'm not even going to go there, but I just kind of like thinking about the whole plot of the show. But anyway, back to Ricky and this truth bomb. So he is in his 50s now. And I have the video link in the description where he is talking about when he was a child that some trusted adults tried to expose him to satanic parties where they were being sexual and doing things that were not appropriate for a child to see. And this was going on in Hollywood. Now, this was in the 1980s. For sure, this stuff is still going on now, and it's probably worse now. And so, again, people, this is real. It was sexuality. It was a cult. They were trying to expose this young boy to that. And he's just kind of like sounding the alarm on what is really happening behind the scenes in Hollywood. And so you need to know that because you watch TV and you watch movies, and you need to know your kids are watching TV, watching movies. You absolutely need to know that. So I'm going to say and suggest that you, because this is a real thing, that you do all that you can to war in the spirit to protect your children, and don't just haphazardly have them watching certain things, or even if they are around, they're going off to college and doing things, encouraging them to get involved in certain areas where predators might be. So just kind of show your kids how to be how to know how to protect themselves as well. And I think that this Ricky Schroeder's talking about it. He had a great way that he tried to tell an adult about it, and that adult didn't do anything, didn't ask questions. Don't be the one that overlooks this kind of thing. Stand up for your kids. Stand up for other people's kids. It's important for you to do that at this time. Story number 4. Law school graduation. There is a speaker who was given the opportunity to speak. She is a graduate of this law school. This is at the City University of New York School of Law. And this young lady speaks these anti-Semitic or anti-Israel remarks. Now, we've been seeing a lot this year about anti-Semitism and these anti-Israel remarks. And if you watched a few of my videos, 2 videos back, you know that I went to Israel and I came back. And so, but this was my thought even before I went, that there has been an increase of these anti-Israel remarks or anti-Jew remarks. And so there has been uproars with sports players and even entertainment rappers and things like that for allegedly using anti-Semitic marks. But this stuff is a little bit deeper than that. This Muslim graduate from the City University of New York School of Law went on an anti-Semitic rant in her speech to other law school graduates. And instead of her encouraging this new class, this new graduating class, instead she started spreading hate and really a brainwashing mentality to other impressionable law graduates. And I do want to say that she's not the only one. A few weeks ago, there was a U.S. Congresswoman who wanted to hold an event in the Capitol, the United States Capitol, where you and I, as citizens, pay for them to take care of business and to protect us and make laws that are beneficial for us. Well, she wanted to hold a hate event. I'll say the event. I think the event was hate filled, but she wanted to hold an event that was promoting the it was against the founding of Israel. So it was against them being liberated having a stance as a country. And she wanted to promote an event in the Capitol on our taxpaying dollars that was against Israel. And I think that it was a way to spew hate. And so I just want to remind you that these people are Americans. They're not the only people that either, it's a difference if you don't know much about Israel or Jewish people. That is a total difference from you actually knowing who they are, what they're about, and then you intentionally going after them. Because I could assure you that it's probably not, these individuals, their ideology is not just about Jewish people. It's probably about Christians, or it's probably about Black people, or it's probably about any other race that is not their own. And so I do want you to keep that in mind. And I also want to add that this young graduate will be a lawyer in our legal system. And so it's important to not spread this hate. This other person is a congresswoman in our country. They're both in our country. And so both of those stories are listed. And those are things that I think you should know. Last but not least, I told you about the brain chips and everything, you being able to control the car with your eyes. This story is connected to AI, and it gets a little long, so I'm going to try to make it brief. So Elon Musk, which you all know him from Twitter, but he does SpaceX, he does Neuralink. He is the founder of those, the founder or the owner of those companies that I just mentioned. But Elon Musk, a lot of the Google executives, Bill Gates, you all know him from Microsoft, and a lot of other technology CEOs, in the past couple of months, I would say the past 3 or 4 months, they have come out to the public on a lot of news platforms, NBC, CNN, and all these Fox, and all these different platforms, to give their opinion about artificial intelligence or AI. And they have said that AI is dangerous, and that the reason why they feel that way is that it could end all human life. So they think it's moved too fast and it's dangerous. They're not against AI. I want to add, they're not against AI. They are, because they created it, they are against it moving too fast, in their words, because they believe it's dangerous. Now, I want to add my opinion here and say, I do believe that AI is dangerous. I do believe that it has moved fast, and I don't doubt what they are saying. The problem that I have is that they have an input. All of these companies have an input that they have an input in AI. They are actually using artificial intelligence. I can get it out, I promise. They're using artificial intelligence in their software already. but they reported AI, the problems, the dangers, after it has been put into the environment, after it has been put into society, after people are using it, after they are actually using it on their platforms. And so that to me is a danger. You're too late. Okay, you're reporting these dangers too late. And let me give you some examples. So last month, there was a story about an explosion occurring at the Pentagon, and it went viral. Okay, it wasn't true. It was not true. It was AI generated, and so it was a full-blown lie. So that is what AI can do. It can create somebody can use AI to create a picture that looks real, but it's not real. Okay, so you won't be able to tell what is what's real in a picture or what is not real. Another thing is, a few days ago, the Palm Beach, Florida Police Department warned their residents about family members. It's a scam, that emergency scam, where someone will call a family member. They have used AI, artificial intelligence, to clone the voice of the family member, and they make fake calls to a person to scam them for money. This is how AI is being used to steal money from people, to scam people, to clone their voices. That's called a deep fake. So you can look these things up if you don't know what a deep fake is. That is faking someone's face, voice, portraying it to be them. This has been going on for some time, but it is out for the mainstream public, for you and I, to use these amenities and features. Another story is AI writes poems, it writes stories. It's being utilized in high school, colleges. In fact, a lawyer used AI, ChatGPT, to write a brief for him, a legal brief for him, and he was exposed or found out from the court, where the judge found out that that's what he did. So now AI is being used for cheating, okay, to cheat on papers, to cheat on different things that you may have to write. It's being used. All right, so that's just something for you to do. That now you know that when you hear a speech, if you hear someone say something, you don't know if they themselves created that speech. You might think, oh my goodness, that was so heartfelt. And it probably was an artificial intelligence that wrote the speech for them, or wrote the paper, or wrote the book, or wrote the post for them. Another thing is AI, and they have a situation where the AI, and I think this one is pretty funny, is telling people, users, to divorce their spouses. Okay, so a person is going to AI and AI, should I divorce my spouse? And then the AI is telling them, yes, divorce your spouse. And people are most likely acting on that. Okay, that's the funny part. The fact that you're asking a computer generated technology what you should do about a personal situation that should be weighed very seriously, that you're depending on something that is AI generated. So, and I guess the AI will suggest after that to marry a computer. I don't know. But it's funny, but it's really not a joke. And the last thing I want to add to that is AI is also taking jobs near you. Now, I know that you might think like, okay, AI can't take my job. Well, you can Google this all over the world. AI is being utilized to take jobs from all, regular people. Anything that you do, a robot can be trained to do it. All right. And so, and I say this, AI is being used it's already being used to hunt down certain drugs, or to act as drug sniffing dogs. So it's even taking the dog's job, really. It's funny, but serious. It's taking the dog's job. A lot of police departments are already using it to detect certain things on people and in communities. And also, the bigger one, the more serious thing here is that all around this country, artificial intelligence is being used for to take the place of 911 emergency lines. So what I mean by that is that they're ditching real humans. They're ditching humans, people, us. They're ditching humans, and they're using AI at call centers, 911 call centers, which means that if you have an emergency and you need police assistance, ambulance, hospital assistance, medical attention, you may call a call center. When you dial 911 and you're expecting to get a person that will say, how can I help you? Where are you located? What's going on? And you will not get the person. You will get a computer generated AI system that will be the 911 operator that you talk to. So it's just some things that you need to think about that you may not have heard of. Again, I'm posting these stories because the devil is working subtly through things, and in 10 years ago, it didn't seem as bad as it is now. And 10 years from now, things might get rough, and we'll look back and say, oh goodness, we should have did this, or we shouldn't have done that, or we should have known about this. And so this, me posting these stories, is an opportunity for you to be in the know. And as I said in the past, that the word says, my people perish for the lack of knowledge. And so you don't want to be the person that is unknowingly co-signing to something that is not true, or not saying anything when you should be saying something, when you should be picking a side, and that side is always going to be on the side of God, right? When you should be saying something and you don't. So we don't want that to happen. So it's best to be in the know. So my advice is to stay informed and to stay close to God. So until next time, bye.